Well, my little sister decided to finally tie the knot with her now husband. So over this occasion, my wife and I packed our bags and then headed directly to Salt Lake City Airport to catch a slight flight to Vegas. After a brief stop in Vegas and gambling away all of my life savings, we hopped on another plane headed to Iowa where our rental car would be awaiting us. After cruising down very familiar highways to myself, my wife and I then sat in the hotel room wondering why God had cursed that particular part of the world with such humidity. And then we both went to bed, waiting to arise for the next morning. So for this day, we basically had no plans and kind of just drove around, went to my childhood home and then went to go check on my old man, to go check on my dad to see if he was still buried where we left him. Man, this shit is weird. Childhood home, it's that right here. That smoldering pile of shit. It's hotter than hell out here. Dad's shed used to be right here. I left the carports up for whatever fucking reason. This shit is weird. Really don't know what I'd take a photo of other than just the yard itself. I'll probably take it on film. This is weird. This is where I grew up. No shit, bum ass nowhere. There's nothing here, but man, it is weird to be back for any amount of reason. I'll take a picture of everything out here and then fuck off and go visit the old man's grave, see what he's been up to. I won't record much of this while I'm out here, but I'm out here visiting the old man. Homeboy decided to, have a fucking brain aneurysm in 2021, so he won't be here for Abby's wedding, but I got something for her. So yeah, just gonna do this for a bit. Smile for the photo, fuckers. Well, on that depressing ass note, I went to go visit my Uncle Dale and we chatted about local news for probably like 2 hours. I don't actually remember how long we'd been there, but it was a while. Then my wife and I went to go buy alcohol at the Holy Grail of most Midwestern households for alcoholism. That would be a place known as Hy-Vee. After these events, we went back to the hotel and chilled out in the room and basically did what only self-respecting human beings do when they get to a hotel room. They turn on ridiculousness and watch Rob Dyrdek just talk about 10-year-old memes that are somehow still relevant. As you can see, the weather was looking quite promising for a wedding event. The weather actually cleared up pretty quick, but not before I had to drive through it to go meet my brother. We met my brother and my niece and my nephew at Denny's, attached to a local travel stop. Best spot to get breakfast in town, mostly because it's like the only thing open. After having mediocre hash browns and some French toast that is no longer the same shape as I remember it being, my brother and I basically just reminisced about old memories in that Denny's, like us playing poker in a corner booth because we knew one of the managers and they wouldn't kick us out if we hosted games. After contracting food poisoning from an unknown source, possibly the syrup, who knows, it's probably older than I am, we headed back to our hotel to cool off, to get out of the 90% humidity that Missouri had been cursed with for that week. After almost passing out from a heat stroke, we then proceeded to get ready for the wedding. I now have to iron my suit for my sister's wedding, so I get to get ready doing that. Yippee. And then change into a suit and feel like a monkey for a while. It'll be great. So I actually didn't record anything during the wedding, purely just out of respect for the photographers and videographers that were already there and paid to do that. If you think that's weird that I didn't, you're wrong, and you are that family member. I didn't want to be that family member and whip out my camera during the middle of, like, oh, I don't know, a ceremony or something that had been, paid for to be recorded and photographed. I did talk to the photographers for a while and actually nerded out about Sony systems because that's what I shoot my videos on, and photos if I'm not shooting film. Speaking of which, video on this coming soon. I also got a new Nikon FM on the same trip that I got this, so I am now poor. Please send me money. I'm just kidding. I can't ask you to do that, and I wouldn't want you to anyway because I'm an adult. I actually did manage to pull my sister aside and take a photograph of her on Kodak Portra 400. Little did I know, I was actually quite shocked this photo turned out because my light meter was dying. I did not know this at the time, but my light meter wasn't reading correctly through my ProMist filter, purely because the battery in it was like very, very close to not working anymore. So the fact this turned out is actually kind of cool. After the wedding festivities had died off and me and my wife made our graceful exit by having to say goodbye to literally everybody, because that's the Midwest for you, me and my very hydrated wife decided to get pizza at a local god-tier pizza spot, also known as a Casey's. It is a gas station that just happens to also sell pizza. And then this state quickly reminded me as to why the I left, hence this clip here.
Yeah, that shit right there is why I fucking hate this state.
After contracting an unknown number of pathogens from the swarm, I headed back to my hotel room to pack for my flight home to Utah that next morning. Until I, of course, procrastinated so hard that I woke up with like an hour to pack all of my shit and then drive immediately to the airport. And with that, we started the drive to Des Moines, Iowa.
There's the fucking wall cloud all the way over there. Driving right the fuck at it.
Where our plane would await us to fly to Denver International Airport in Colorado. After we landed in Denver for our eternal layover and a McDonald's worker hence fucked up my cheeseburgers, sat around really not doing anything, and then I loaded some Fuji 400 into my Pentax and just started shooting anything that looked interesting. My favorite photo I took in Denver was actually of this shot of this elderly couple sitting here, and the lighting looked really good, and I had a quarter ProMist on the front of my camera. I like how the highlights bloom off, how they roll very, very nicely. I like this shot. And then we get to the plane part, where I attempt to do what Grainy Days has called the most photographed trope of all time, which is shooting out of an airplane window on film. Now, most of my shots turned out like this. You may notice it looks like Barney vomited all over these photos. That's because I failed to realize at the beginning of the roll that I had a circular polarizer on that camera. If I would have just screwed it off and shot without the polarizing V&D on the front of my camera, it would have turned out perfect. It would have turned out just fine. But no, those weird colors you see is purely because I'm stupid and I didn't take it off. Some of the photos actually turned out pretty well. We then landed in Salt Lake City Airport. After landing in Salt Lake City Airport, I then immediately went to my car and just dreaded the drive home.
It is, for one, it looks fucking gorgeous out here. Finally back to the Chevy. Fucking part of me is like, yay, freedom, but now I have a 2.5 hour drive back to my house and I gotta go grab food.
We drove 2.5 hours back to the house, and then just immediately went to bed. 4 days later, I was packing to go to Vegas, which we will talk about in the next video. I hope all of you guys stay safe. I hope you guys are all doing great. I appreciate you coming, staying, watching the whole video. If you do, like, subscribe, all that fun YouTuber nonsense. I hope you guys have an amazing day. I will see you in the Vegas video, where I get to talk about how I finally bought a medium format camera. Have a great day.